Let's go. This is my very first YouTube video that's not a short for fantasy football this season. This is my quarterback rankings 1 through 30 based on strength of schedule. The idea is I give you, and as always, like and subscribe if you like the content, and let's dive into it, guys. Number 1 is going to be Jalen Hurts, who I have in a tier with just him by himself at number 1. The strength of schedule for him at quarterback is 22 this season, but he is bulletproof. He is going to have second-year chemistry with Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. Goedert saying he's going for 1,000 yards. The offensive line is ranked number 1 PFF. The sky is the limit for this offense. Do not hesitate to draft him earlier than others. At number 2, it is going to be Josh Allen, who is in the same situation as Hurts with a strength of schedule at 21 for quarterback, but he's also bulletproof just like Jalen. Stephon Diggs is going to get his. He was on pace for wide receiver 1 last season until Josh Allen had his elbow hurt. I think Gabe Davis is a huge breakout candidate. They draft Dalton Kincaid out of Utah, who is a literal legit specimen tight end who will be playing wide receiver, lining up in the slot, lining up everywhere. I like Josh Allen as number 2 this season. At number 3, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes, who Kels is always going to get his. Probably the GOAT, greatest tight end of all time. You can draft him in the top 6, but the problem with them is at wide receiver, you don't know who the wide receiver 1 is going to be. Kadarius Toney, Ross, Sky Moore. I mean, it's just spread out all over, but Mahomes is so good, he's always still going to get his no matter what. At number 4, it is Lamar Jackson. The past 2 seasons, the pace of offense for the Ravens has been 26 and lower, which is speed per play that happens. Todd Monken is the new offensive coordinator they signed. He will bring a top 5 pace to this offense. It will be flying. They signed OBJ in the offseason. They draft Zay Flowers. They are 100% ready to Ravens flock fly this season. And at number 5 is Justin Fields, who I moved up my board from about 8 about 2 weeks ago. I know he's been having a couple passing problems in the preseason, but this guy is so electric running the ball that you can't put him any lower than top 5. The DJ Moore addition is solid. I really like Khalil Herbert at the backer. I think he's undervalued also. He's going to be my number 5 heading into 2023. At number 6, it is going to be Justin Herbert, who I believe has the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL heading into this season. With the addition of Quentin Johnson in the draft, they are going to be high-flying. Keenan Allen is always going to get his. I know the injury scare is there for Keenan and Mike Williams all the time, but if they can stay healthy, this will be a potent top 3 to 5 offense. I'm guaranteeing it. At number 7 will be Joe Burrow, rule the jungle. With the offensive line addition that the Bengals have made this season, finally, to give him some help, will be incredible. He will have Jamar Chase, who I have as wide receiver 1. T. Higgins, they're the best duo in the league. The addition of Irv Smith will help at tight end. I think Joe Burrow could possibly even be MVP this year. Letting know how this calf strain goes or not. Number 8 is going to be Duval's finest, Trevor Lawrence. Calvin Ridley is him. They are going to be lights out on offense, easy division. You have Evan Ingram, you have Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Zay Jones. Everyone on this offense is going to be eating. They're going to be nonstop passing, running. It's going to be lights out all around. Get every piece of this offense that you can. At number 9, it is going to be my comeback player of the year choice, Deshaun Watson, although they're going to give it to DeMar Hamlin just flat out because what happened last year to him in the season. So you have the addition of Elijah Moore in the slot to go along with Amari Cooper on the outside, who I'm so bullish on Amari Cooper from last season. He literally won fantasy teams championships down the stretch, 30 points in week 17, just when they got started clicking. It's going to be the sky is the limit for Amari and Deshaun Watson this season. Book it. You have David Njoku, who saw the second most red zone targets behind Travis Kelce. That number is going to go up. And you love that Nick Chubb is the full RB1 with no Kareem Hunt out of town. It is going to be, I think I'm going to move Deshaun Watson up after week 1. At number 10, it is going to be Tan Marino Tua Tagovailoa, the scariest pick to put in the top 10, but just based off the fireworks that could happen if he stays healthy is out of this world. I know their offensive line is ranked 22. They just lost their left tackle Armstead, who honestly gets hurt every single year. Their depth at O-line is very weak, but if he can have quick releases with Tyreek Hill and Waddle both being top 15 wide receivers, Tyreek Hill being top 4, obviously he says he's going for 2,000 yards. I mean, it's out of control. And if they get Jonathan Taylor, I mean, this offense is going to be probably one of the greatest 1, 2, 3, 4 you've ever seen. So I have to put him at 10, but it is very risky. Number 11 is Dak Prescott. Now, I know this is a shaky number 11 with how many picks he threw last season. The picks reported that he's throwing in camps, but I love the addition of Brandon Cooks, the draft pick of Shoemaker to help out Ferguson. Now that Zeke is out of town, Tony Pollard is going to absolutely eat. CD Lamb will be a top 7 wide receiver. It just depends on if Dak can plug in, focus up, and stop turning the ball over. He could even be a top 10 quarterback. At number 12, it's going to be Kirk Cousins with the draft pick addition of Jordan Addison from USC, who is a stud that is going to eat up the vacated targets left behind by Thielen, the vacated targets left behind by Cook. I know that Alexander Madison is now the guy, but it's kind of shaky on if he's going to get the full 3-down workload or not. Kirk Cousins is always a top 12 to 13 quarterback, underrated every single year. He is great value at like around 9 to 10 in your drafts. At 13, it's Vanilla Vic, Danny Dimes, who has looked lights out in the preseason. The Waller and him connection could be through the roof right now. His ADP for Waller is just going to skyrocket. We don't know how high it's going to go before even the week when we have our real draft here for the big league. But man, I like Danny Dimes a lot. The problem is their strength of schedule is 29th. It is very tough. Same for Saquon in the run. It is also very, very tough. So it's hard for me to put him top 10 because their schedule is going to be so hard. At 14, it's the most undervalued quarterback in fantasy football today. He ended up QB5 last year, and he's going drafted in the 11th and 10th round this year, which is absolutely bananas. The addition of Jay Season also, I mean, the sky is the limit. They're going to have probably the second best trio of wide receivers in the NFL with DK Metcalf, Lockett, and Jay Season. You can bank your team for depth if you have a 12 to 14 man league and get Geno Smith so late. The value is incredible. At 15, it is Jared Goff, who just continues to produce yearly and gets undervalued every single time. Him and Amon-Ra will be through the roof this year. The draft pick addition of Sam Laporta from Iowa will be very nice. He might even be a serviceable tight end you can use weekly, while Jameson Smith has a 6-game suspension. At number 16, it is going to be my favorite, absolute favorite value at QB you can get this season. It is going to be Brock Purdy, whose ADP on Underdog right now is about 156, and I think the Underdog has the most legit ADP rankings out of every platform. You got to think of it as Deebo Samuel, CMC, Ayuk, Kittle. What other quarterback above, to about ADP 120 to all the way down can even compete with the weapons that Brock Purdy is going to have? I like him at 16, maybe even he'll finish around 12 to 11, possibly. At number 17 is also another underrated quarterback at Derek Carr, who is going right around the same ADP as Brock Purdy. You give him Chris Olave. Michael Thomas is the biggest question that they have every single year. I mean, if this guy plays like week 1 last year, came out 20 points, then boom, another 18 point, and then out for the season. Like if he plays all the way through, the sky will be the limit. I like the addition of Jimmy Graham in the red zone with Jawan Johnson. They're going to have the Kendre Miller rookie edition. We know that Kamara's out 3 suspended games, so he might just take the job and run. Who knows how the backfield plays out. You're also going to have Taysom Hill in the red zone. Joker type guy who can run it, catch it, pass it, throw it. I like Derek Carr actually a lot more than other people this year. At number 18 is going to be Russell Wilson. I feel like the Sean Payton bounce back is coming. I know that Jerry Jeudy had a bad injury, which really hurts going into the season. He'll probably be out, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe come back week 4 with the hamstring. But once a hamstring, I'm always afraid to draft that guy for the rest of the year. But I really, really like Jerry Jeudy coming into the season. Cortland Sutton will step up. Marvin Mims has gone up like 30 in ADP. Should be wide receiver you're targeting early. If you're looking for deep league, potential wide receiver play, I like him a lot. At number 19 is one of my favorite deep sleeper just teams in general, but it's going to be Kenny Pickett. I love this Steelers offense with Najee and Jalen Warren probably mixing in. George Pickens looks like he's freaking absolutely legit. He may be on his way to stardom this season. Deontay Johnson's always going to see 140 to 150 targets. Pat Freiermuth probably 100 targets. Great tight end. The weapons they have is elite. I like him a lot this season. At number 20 is a very tough one for me with the JT situation. But, Anthony Richardson's size, speed, and just ability to run the ball all over is going to be insane for fantasy value. I may even move him up higher coming into week 2 for the rankings. But I like him at 20 right now. At 21 is going to be the old man himself from Hard Knocks, Aaron Rodgers. I know we just saw the preseason game 3, and the connection with Garrett Wilson looks absolutely legit. Like Garrett Wilson may be a top 3 wide receiver this season, but I don't know if I can put him ahead of everyone else just based on age, based on having the 1A, 1B running back in Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook. I know he has Lazard and Cobb, which he's known for years. He knows exactly what's going to happen with them. He probably trusts them for value. It's just, I mean, he could go up, could go down. It's just, he's one of those, late round flyers that I'm 50-50 with when I think I can find better value. But I like him right now at 21. At 22 is going to be the guy that they literally released Aaron Rodgers for. That is going to be Jordan Love, who actually has looked amazing in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but man, he looks like he is going to be actually a legit serviceable starting quarterback, especially in the 2 QB league for sure. But the Christian Watson connection in the red zone looks good. Romeo Dobbs, all of it looks good. Jaden Reed coming at the slot looks solid. You're always going to have the 1A, 1B, Dylan Jones. Their strength of schedule is number 2 for running backs, which is great. So they might pound the run more, which is why I have him lower. But I do like Jordan Love actually a lot heading into this season. At 23, it's going to be the return of Mac Jones, who everyone was out on last year. I know Bailey Zappi took the job for a little bit, but I feel like he's got that fire chip on his shoulder. He's going to come back. He's going to produce in the passing game, even though they don't have great weapons. I mean, Devontae Parker, Juju, Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. It's kind of 50-50. I do like the addition of Zeke. I love the Ramondre at the backfield getting receptions. I like Mac Jones at 23 heading into the season. At 24, it's going to be one of the deep sleepers in Desmond Ridder. Drake London, 28% target share in 22, and people still aren't drafting him high enough. When Desmond Ridder took the job last season, the Falcons also passed 7 times more per game on average. He also has the ability to run. I hope that this is the year that Kyle Pitts can actually show up and produce for his ADP one time, but I like Desmond Ridder at 24 right now. At 25 is a guy I've liked a lot in the preseason, and Bryce Young. One of the problems they have being the Panthers is they signed DJ Shark, who's missed an average of 7 games for the past 4 years. He's always hurt. So a wide receiver you should be targeting in your drafts is Jonathan Mingo, especially if it's dynasty or keeper. And you should be targeting Thielen because it looks like he's going to get a ton of targets this season because they'll most likely be playing from behind. They might be up in a couple games, maybe 4 or 5 games in the season, but they're going to be struggling as the rebuild begins. But he has actually looked very good in preseason. I like Bryce Young a lot this season. At quarterback 26, it's going to be one of the greatest best ball deep QB sleeper values, possibly 2 QB, maybe able to throw him on a bye week, is going to be Sam Howell, Washington Redskins. 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. The guy's looked absolutely electric in the preseason. I know that Terry McLaurin has turf toe right now, so it's kind of, Jahan Dotson to the moon, right? But they're going to have Antonio Gibson out the backfield, Brian Robinson up the middle. The defense is looking solid. I hope they keep Chase Young, the Predator. I like his throwing ability, deep ball, long arm a lot. I have him at 26 at the moment, but I feel like week 2, that will be higher. At 27, recently named the QB1 for the Houston Texans is going to be CJ Stroud. I think that people do not realize that there's actually a ton of young talent on this Texans team, and next year they will be more explosive. This year will be a learning curve year. Rookie quarterbacks usually struggle. But when you have Nico Collins, who has been his absolute go-to guy, who looks like a 100% complete sleeper at his value at about 115 ADP. They have John Mechie coming off injury, who was electric in college. Tank Dell, who has looked crazy good in camp. Dalton Schultz, who is Dak Prescott's, recovery blanket every time. Security blanket, sorry, wrong word. Last season, he will see tons of targets. Dameon Pierce is an absolute steal at running back. They are moving in the right direction, but I have CJ Stroud at 27 for now. At number 28, it is going to be Ryan Tannehill. If Treylon Burks did not go down, I would probably have him a couple spots higher because I love the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, who will actually maybe draw a couple doubles to open it up for Henry, or Henry will have the box stacked that will help DeAndre Hopkins. So I do like maybe a couple dart throws weekly with Ryan Tannehill, but I don't know how much of a starter he's going to be. At 29 is going to be Jimmy G. You know they have Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs just signed. I like the addition of Michael Mayer. I'm just not super high on ever, playing Jimmy G. I've been a Niner fan so long. I know how it goes with him. He may give you 120-point game here or there, but he's going to be 14, 18, 16 average QB, which is not great. And at 30th, last but not least, is Matt Stafford. And I only have him here because he's 35 and the injuries just keep on piling up for this guy. I mean, I don't even know if he's going to make it to the season, which makes it very risky for Cooper Kupp. I mean, they could bring in Stetson Bennett, but, how much is a rookie really going to do? I have Matt Stafford at 30, and he's not on my draft boards at all. And that concludes the top 30 quarterbacks, guys. If you guys like the content, like and subscribe. All the support is appreciated. I have a little harsh voice today. I will bring more content tomorrow, hopefully with a better voice, more energy. But this is my very first one. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.